What do you do when life changes everything? Not gradually, but all at once. Retirement, a diagnosis, a loss. Suddenly, the life you knew doesn't fit anymore, and the clarity you once had disappears. I see this fog all the time. Just last week, a woman named Chris left a comment on my live stream. She wrote, I'm recently retired with a new health diagnosis that changed my life. I feel like I don't know what to do anymore. I've always been active and independent, and now life feels different. When I read that, I knew exactly what she meant because it's not just the retirement, it's not just the diagnosis, it's that sudden disorientation when who you were doesn't quite fit anymore and who you're becoming hasn't really fully formed yet. So you're like in that middle stage. And it's especially jarring for strong, independent sisters, women like Chris, women like you who've always had a plan. That's what this video is about. Not fixing everything, but finding your way. Everything else has changed. And I've been there too. I had a full life, a thriving career, running multi-million-dollar organizations, raising millions for causes I believed in, raising kids, being a wife, giving back, living with purpose. I was always on the moves, always the one people could count on. And then everything shifted. I lost my husband of 40 years. I became a caregiver for both my mom and my dad. And even with all my experience, all my strength, I found myself sitting in that same fog, wondering, who was I now? Wondering what life was supposed to look like after all of that. And here's what I've learned. The fall doesn't mean you've failed. The quiet doesn't mean you're done. It just means something sacred is shifting, something new is happening. And clarity takes time to meet you where you are. So if you're in this space where the clarity you used to have has gone quiet, I want to offer you 3 small but powerful shifts that helped me begin again. These come from my Life by Design method, but I don't want you to worry. This isn't a step-by-step plan I'm giving you today. What I want to share with you is all about starting to see through the fall and just enough to take the next breath. What Chris asked us about, the next step. So the first thing I want you to do is reframe the story you're telling yourself. Most women I work with, and I've been guilty of it too, tell themselves, I should have figured this out by now. But what if this fall that you're in, the state that you're in, isn't failure? What if it's wisdom saying to you, slow down? Something deeper is calling for your attention. I beat myself up for a long time. I'm going to tell you, wondering why I didn't have the answer. After leading organizations, creating strategy for decades, you'd think I'd know what to do with my own life. But I had to learn that clarity doesn't always come all at once. Sometimes it reveals itself in small insights at a time as you go along. So I want you to know that you're not stuck. What's happening is you're really in between what was and what's next. And that space deserves more grace than pressure. Small yet powerful shift number two that I'd like you to think about. Stop asking, what should I do? And start asking, how do I want to feel? So when you used to being productive, like us high achieving women, this feels strange at first. I'll be honest with you. This one was hard for me. I was wired to go, lead, to perform. And suddenly, someone asked me, dear friend, how I wanted to feel. And I couldn't even answer. I had to learn to let myself sit in the question, not fix it or answer it right away. But purpose isn't just about doing, it's about being. I remember asking myself after, my losses and my caregiving, what would it feel like to wake up with lightness again, with energy, with purpose? And once I learned that, then I stopped trying to plan the whole future. I started following the feeling, and that's where clarity began to return. And I began to use productivity and wellness tools that helped me during this time. And you'll find all of my favorite wellness tools in my Amazon shop. There's a link below. The third small but powerful shift that I want you to think about is give yourself permission to be unfinished. You don't need to have your 5-year plan right away. And I say that as someone who spent years building 5-year plans for organizations and other people. That was my job. Create vision, structure, outcomes. So telling myself it's okay to not know yet, that was hard, but it was also necessary because, see, you need space, grace, a little structure, a little stillness. You've carried so much, and now it's your turn to receive, to listen to what your life is asking of you next, not in reaction, but with intention. If you've been watching this and quietly thinking, this is me, I want to leave you with this. You don't have to rush. You don't have to figure it all out. But you also don't have to do this alone. That's why I offer my 30-minute next steps calls. It's a chance to talk it through with someone who gets it. No pressure, just clarity. It's a free call, just real conversation. I also want you to know I've got a live workshop coming up soon, designed specifically for women in this season of transition, this moment where we'll walk through how to reconnect with purpose and begin again with intention. So, if either one of those opportunities to work with me and to work together speaks to you, check the links below. And even if you don't take a step today, I hope you leave this video feeling just a little bit more grounded, a little more seen, and maybe even a little more hopeful. Yes, indeed, about what's possible next. Because clarity doesn't come all at once, but it does come one intentional step at a time. I'm so glad you joined me for this conversation. If you found value, please share this with another woman who you know would just love to hear this information and the encouragement and motivation about this season of transition. It's wonderful, and you can do what you want with it. And for you, Chris, especially, I want to leave this message. There's a television commercial with my favorite actor, Morgan Freeman, in it. And he says, a health diagnosis doesn't define you. And he ends the commercial with, let's get busy living. That's what we want to do. Love you all.